Good day, everyone. Wherever you believe you are, whoever you believe you are, where you are, I'm grateful that we have this time together. This audio video is apparently being named or labeled as radically relevant. I suggest and welcome you to just take a comfortable seated position for our time together. And this all kind of unfolded for me yesterday morning when I was sitting in meditation. If that's, those are only words. Sitting in what most would call meditation silence. If your eyes are open, you see the image that I usually use for these audio talks, videos. And when I very first saw this image in a store, it really struck me as something that I was supposed to have and use. At the time, I had no idea how it was going to be used, but for many of you know that I've used it for all the videos so far. And of course, it's an image of the outline of a body sitting cross-legged, but there's no facial features other than ears. There's a face with ears, but there's no other traits. There's the outline of the body. And as I was sitting yesterday with my eyes closed, an image came to me, and I'm going to put it up now. So, as you can see, this is very much a rough sketch or outline of a human form. And what was running through my thoughts yesterday was we talk about the mind and how the mind projects and how the mind projects images. And this whole scenario started to play out where this mind that doesn't have a shape or anything that I could draw, how would it start its projecting? It would need some type of identification for what it's projecting. And it would start with something or someone. And this outline appeared in my mind. Notice it's not male or female. It doesn't have ears or eyes or a nose or a mouth. It has no identification, if you will, but this vacant, very lightly drawn image of maybe what the mind calls a body, someone. Now, this image so far is simply a very light outline. No traits, no personality, no past, no present, no future. It's simply lines lightly sketched out on a piece of blank white paper. There's no emotion. There's no thoughts. It's really quite freeing. There's no name to this. It's simply an outline, a sketch of something that, if you will, the mind has projected, but the mind goes further yet. The mind, whatever the mind is, says to itself, there has to be more identification here. So bear with me as I change the image now. So the mind adds some features. There's ears, there's hair, there's eyes, there's a nose, there's a mouth that can talk. And the mind projects I'm going to add some vocabulary, some words. I'm going to name this body now. Maybe James, Ron, Debbie, Terry, Becky, Doug, Veronica, Jessup. All of a sudden, there's more identification there. And instantly, with these additional changes to that outline, if you will, there's now content. It's taking more form. It's becoming more concrete. A sort of reality. And the mind considers, I'm going to project other bodies, other names, other sexes, other personalities. And with that, what was a simple outline, a sketch, is slowly becoming something that seems heavier, bulkier. There's a supposed energy and life that's coming to what was a simple outline, an imagined sketch of something that was nothing, but now seems to have an identification and thoughts of its own, personality of its own, likes and dislikes of its own. Things this identified someone can do. There's now projected places and images. The mind thinks, I can go further. I'm going to project a world, an earth. I'm going to project stars and galaxies, moons and suns. I'm going to project UFOs and angels and spirits. Is there any end to what this supposed mind can imagine? Imagine the mind has projected you and what you have perceived as your life, your past experiences, your thoughts, your present, your future, your dreams, your expectations, your fantasies, your nightmares, all imagined by this, whatever it is, concept idea of mind. If your eyes are closed, open them and look at that image. Put your name with it, your life, and now let's take a trip backwards from this identification. Notice the difference with this image. Notice the freedom, the lightness. Let's go back even further. To this image, a blank white space, maybe not white, simply empty, like space. Like something that you can't imagine. Space. Love. You couldn't have drawn, the mind could not have projected an image of love on those outlines. Space, love, simply exists. Eternal, infinite, unchanging. So as I sat yesterday, of course, when I first sat down, there was this image of Doug, the body, the thoughts, the personality, the past, the history, sitting, feeling, thinking. And then this image came to me of that simple outline of something. And that outline started to fade. And as it faded and disappeared, there was this emptiness. This undescribable beingness, unidentifiable freedom. There was no longer a Doug sitting, supposedly sitting, it's just a word, a concept, meditating, being in silence, simply projected concepts and ideas. An all-encompassing, unrestricted, no boundaries, no lines, no confinement, an all-encompassing, love was the only idea word that seemed to fit this ultimate expression of what felt like an isness. Beyond words. And it seemed like in that instant, mind, the idea, the concept of mind, projecting a me, a life, you, the world, was instantly unraveled to simply be what was left. An inheritance, a natural reality of the most beautiful emptiness, an unidentifiable love. As I mentioned at the beginning, this sharing, this pointer was supposed to be titled Radically Relevant. As we supposedly go through the actions and movements of our day, let's remember the reality of love. there can still be the perception of movement, of doing, of other forms and bodies and personalities. But now we remember. The original, natural inheritance that is beingness. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Of many, many moments of spacious, unlimited love.